friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a comparison of the Redmi Note 7 Pro with the Samsung Galaxy A50. So Redmi Note 7 Pro prices starts at 13,999 for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage, while we have 19,999 pricing for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage variant of the Samsung Galaxy A50. So in this video we'll do a detailed comparison and see which device is better and which all areas these two devices excel. So let's get started with the detailed comparison. First up, let's have a look at the design and build quality. Now design wise, you can see that both the devices have the small notch included. You can also see that the bezels are slightly on the lower side on the Samsung Galaxy A50, while the Redmi Note 7 Pro screen to body ratio is slightly on the higher side, even though the bottom bezels are quite similar on both the phones. Now looking at the back panel, so here we can see that it is made of glass on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, while this has been given a glass finish with a plastic material. So it is prone to scratches on the Samsung Galaxy A50, while we have Gorilla Glass 5 support on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So in terms of the design, we feel the Redmi Note 7 Pro looks better because of the better material quality and also with slightly better finishing overall. So that is the design aspect. Looking at the build quality as well, you can see that the Redmi Note 7 Pro feels a bit more superior in terms of build with the glass finishing, and it has Gorilla Glass support on the front and the back panel. The Samsung Galaxy A50 is also a pretty good looking smartphone with curved edges, but then at the price of almost 20,000, it still is not as superior as the 14K priced Redmi Note 7 Pro. So that was the design and build quality. Now looking at the displays. So both the phones have Full HD plus resolution displays with 19.5:9 aspect ratio. We have a 6.3 inches display on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, while we have a 6.4 inches display on the Samsung Galaxy A50. The Galaxy A50 has a better screen to body ratio than the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now there is also advantage for the Samsung Galaxy A50 in terms of display. This being the Super AMOLED panel looks really vibrant, colorful, and the viewing angles are also slightly better than the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now the Redmi Note 7 Pro excels in terms of the Gorilla Glass 5 support, while it's Gorilla Glass 3 on the Samsung Galaxy A50. But overall we feel the Samsung Galaxy A50 has a slightly superior display overall. Now moving on to the software. So both the devices run on custom UIs, both have Android 9.0 out of the box. So that's one thing which is common between these two phones. But looking at the software experience, so first let's have a look at the Redmi Note 7 Pro. It comes with the MIUI 10, that's the latest version of MIUI, and it offers plethora of options to choose like dual app support, app lock, then you have customizations with themes and second space, and a lot of features are included, and it has been a tried and tested UI with a lot of features and options included. So if you are a person who has already used Xiaomi devices, you might be knowing that how good the MIUI experience is, although it does have some issues with ads being shown, but it is not really a major issue in terms of the experience. But then if you look at the Samsung's A50, this is the new One UI. It feels really refreshing. You can see that the new One UI looks pretty good. If you look at the settings, it is a more of a clutter-free UI and feels really nice with a lot of additional features included like theming support. There is also dual app support and a few options included. But looking at the features being offered in the UI, the MIUI 10 definitely has an advantage over the Samsung's One UI. Also, the Samsung's One UI response time for the apps was slightly slower than the Redmi Note 7 Pro, but otherwise it looks quite good. So that is the software experience. So we feel the Redmi Note 7 Pro has an advantage in terms of the UI performance, but again it's a personal choice whether you want to go with the Redmi Note 7 Pro with MIUI 10 or the Samsung A50 with the One UI. Now moving on to the performance. So both the phones have pretty good chipsets. We have the Snapdragon 675 octa-core processor, 4GB RAM and 64GB storage, while we have the Exynos 9610 octa-core processor with 4GB RAM and 64GB storage. Now looking at the raw performance, the 675 is definitely powerful than the 9610, which is closer to the Snapdragon 660, and the 675 has pretty much higher performance than the 9610. But in terms of day-to-day performance, you can see both are equally responsive. No major difference actually. Gaming experience also feels quite similar on both the phones because we have a larger capacity, larger screen size on the Samsung Galaxy A50 with the Super AMOLED panel. The gaming overall experience feels slightly better on the Samsung Galaxy A50. But otherwise, both the phones are equally good in terms of performance, but raw benchmark scores are higher on the Redmi Note 7 Pro because of the Snapdragon 675 chipset. Now both the phones have dual SIM cards, 4G LTE and VoLTE support. We have a dedicated SD card slot on the Samsung Galaxy A50. Now both the devices have fingerprint scanner. We have the one mounted on the rear panel on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, while we have in-display fingerprint scanner on the Samsung Galaxy A50. So the in-display fingerprint scanner is not really fast. So we feel the fingerprint scanner performance was slightly faster on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, but if you want to experience the latest technology like in-display fingerprint scanner, then the Samsung Galaxy A50 offers that. Now face unlock is quite similar on both the phones. Now moving on to the cameras. So this is one area where these two devices have a lot of things to differ. We have a dual camera setup. We have the Sony IMX586 sensor, which is a 48 megapixel shooter, and it has f-stop 1.79 aperture, and it also has a 13 megapixel selfie camera. On the other hand, we have a triple camera setup with a 25 megapixel primary camera, f1.7 aperture, and we have an ultra wide camera, that's an 8 megapixel shooter, and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 25 megapixel selfie camera as well. So we have done a detailed camera comparison of these two devices, so you can actually check out that video to get an idea about how good the performance is. So in terms of the daylight performance, we feel the Redmi Note 7 Pro has better colors and overall details and sharpness levels with a 48 megapixel shooter, bringing you great details overall. So camera performance definitely was better on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. And also if you look at the low light performance, that's one area where again the Redmi Note 7 Pro performs much better because there is night mode on offer, while no such options are available on the Samsung Galaxy A50. Now the selfie camera is slightly better on the Samsung Galaxy A50 because of the 25 megapixel shooter getting you really good results, but again a personal choice on selfie, so you can decide based on the images shared. Now there is also 4K support on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, while it is 1080p resolution on the Samsung Galaxy A50. So overall in terms of the camera performance, we feel the Redmi Note 7 Pro is our choice. Now finally the battery life. So we have 4000 mAh capacity battery on both the phones. Both support fast charging. We have a 15 watt bundle charger with the Samsung Galaxy A50, while there is fast charging on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, but it's not bundled. So battery performance again feels quite similar. You can get around 6.5 to 7 hours of screen on time. That's a maximum on both the phones. So we feel battery performance is more or less a tie on both the phones. So now summing up, which is the better device to buy? So the Redmi Note 7 Pro has a better build quality, better design, then software experience is slightly better, better performance and better cameras as well, and all this you get for 13,999 pricing. So the Samsung Galaxy A50 comes with a better display, that's a Super AMOLED panel, and refreshing UI and good selfie cameras as well. So that comes for around 19,999 pricing. So looking at the pricing and features to offer, the Redmi Note 7 Pro definitely is our choice, but then if you are looking for a Samsung device, then the A50 makes a really good choice because Samsung A devices have been offered about 20k price segment most of the time, and this is really great pricing for A series phone by Samsung, but then it is still not as good as the Redmi Note 7 Pro in terms of the overall performance. So that is a detailed comparison of the Redmi Note 7 Pro with the Samsung Galaxy A50. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.